Can!
It's almost!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right on the show today, Indian women script a win for the ages. They stopped the unbeatable Aussies in the semi-final of the World Cup. Jemimah Rodrigues constructs a record-breaking run chase and breaks down right after. Why does this win matter to Indian cricket? Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid seem to be at war. The star footballer apologizes for his outburst during the El Clasico but leaves out the coach. What is brewing in the Real Madrid camp? And is Vinicius' star status fading? And is Harry Kane's long-held NFL dream close to fruition? He finds backing in one of the best. Will that dramatic switch happen now? But first, the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket, India suffered a crushing 4-wicket loss to Australia in the second T20 international. Put into bat first, India were bowled out for 125. Abhishek Sharma fought a lone battle with a 68-run knock. In response, Captain Mitchell Marsh's 46 helped Australia win the match inside of 14 overs. The Aussies lead the 5-match series 1-0. The first match was a washout. Over in football, Arsenal have entered the quarterfinals of the League Cup. The Gunners registered a 2-0 win over Brighton. The club saw history being made as a 15-year-old player, Max Doman, became the youngest starter for them. While he didn't score any goals, he was given a standing ovation when he got subbed off in the second half. Moving to tennis, world number 3 Alexander Zverev has entered the quarterfinals of Paris Masters. The German beat Alejandro Davidovich in straight sets. He will now face Daniel Medvedev, who beat Lorenzo Sonigo 3-6, 7-6, 6-4 in a hard-fought round of 16 clash. The athletics governing body has uncovered a $1 million theft. They found that their employees stole over $1.7 million over the years. Out of 3 culprits, 1 had already left the job. The other 2 were fired after being found guilty. And summing it up with chess, India got its 90th Grandmaster in 16-year-old A.R. Ilambarti. The teenager crossed the 2,500 rating points mark after his performance in the Bijaljina Open Chess Tournament. He is the 35th Grandmaster to come out of Tamil Nadu alone. Prominent names from that state include world champion Gukesh Dommaraju, Pragyananda Ramesh Babu and his sister Vaishali. It was a long night as many here in India went to bed filled with raw emotions. Disbelief coupled with euphoria and a massive sense of pride. Our cricketers stopped the unbeatable, unshakable Australia in their tracks. The very same Aussies who know how to win a game from just about anywhere. And in no less than a World Cup semi-final. There were tears, there was relief, and it felt like a heavy weight was lifted off their shoulders. So we ask, what does this win mean for Indian cricket? And what did the women achieve last night? Now, I'm aware this is a sports show and sports is about the facts, right? The scoreline, who won, who lost, how did the win come about, what records were broken? Well, plenty. For one and foremost, this was the highest run chase in a World Cup. And that ought to tell you enough. But there is more to this than just the scoreline. A scoreline that will not do justice to what this match truly meant for the women out there who broke down in tears right after. What this meant for us as a nation. Now, I know, and a lot of you watching this would confirm, many quiet and unbothered households suddenly would have come alive last night. The dormant TV sets frantically turned on when some internet site notified you of the scorecard. You were wildly thinking, is this really happening? The last 30 minutes of the game was pure drama. The dugout was very stoic. They were sitting in their spots, not moving an inch. You could see the tears welling up in Captain Harmanpreet's eyes as the 2 batters out in the middle moved closer to the target. The women huddled next to each other with Amol Mazumdar, the coach. They were all fighting their emotions, trying to keep it all in check. Some clutching their chains, an object of faith, no doubt. Contrastingly, out in the pitch, in the humid Mumbai still air, with the world now watching and a fierce Australia still holding on, Jemimah Rodrigues and Harmanpreet Kaur were a sea of composure, putting one silken touch after the other, knocking off the runs very calmly without any rush. And of course, upsetting the rhythms of the wily Molyneux and experienced Sutherland. Jemimah kept muttering to herself even as her partner came in to talk to her in between deliveries, trying to keep things easy and breezy. Even as every single person watching, from the spectators at the stadium to the teammates, the Australians, the opposition out there, us watching at our homes, we knew what an epic moment this was. We knew how nervous anyone would be in the situation. When that final run was struck, all hell broke loose. Smriti Mandhana, Jemimah's closest friend and confidant in that dressing room, was first out, running towards the women out in the middle as Jemimah crumpled to the ground in tears. Harmanpreet Kaur broke down as she was engulfed by her coach Amol, tears and smiles of relief everywhere. All the other girls had surrounded Jemimah by then, bringing her to her feet. Those pictures rocked a whole nation as realization sunk in on what this Indian team had just achieved. Jemimah's raw, real emotions last night told you what this win meant, not just for her, but for entire team. A team that was being tagged for its heartbreaks in the past. A team that was told they couldn't handle pressure. They couldn't handle knockouts. That they didn't have it in them to finish off games. That they just couldn't cross the line. They were no good. But that was not all.
It was really hard this last month. I've cried almost every day through this tour. I wasn't doing well mentally, going through anxiety. When I couldn't carry on, my teammates encouraged me. Each and every member who chanted, cheered, and believed for every run they were cheering, that pumped me up.
This is someone who was dropped from the 2022 World Cup, who was scoring nothing heading into this clash in this tournament, who was out of her depths and came out on top despite all of that. That there is true strength. That is champion stuff. Bearing your soul then for the world to see, to let them see your pain, your vulnerability, your weakness. That led to a moment of absolute triumph. A triumph that was relatable. It's a resolve that the best somehow tap into in the dying moments of a game. Something that just keeps them going. And Jemimah did not get here by herself. Her family who was there rooting for her, her teammates who pushed her up the order at number 3, who were there with her throughout, putting her faith in her, all helped her get here. That is grit. That is tenacity. These women made a whole country wake up from their slumber. While the official numbers, of course, aren't completely in, some snapshots tell me around 125 million people tuned in overall to watch a historic match unfold, and a peak concurrence of 15.94 million. You all were willed to come and be a part of something incredible. Not out of obligation, not as a favor. This was no empathy or pity watch. These athletes, with their fearless display, commanded us to see them and be amazed by them. Those tears, those emotions spilling out for all to see, told us how much they had endured, how tough this journey had been, how doubly hard they've had to strive to be seen, to be cheered on and even watched. Now, the tournament is not over. We know that there is still a World Cup final. And by the time November 2nd comes, you'll see many previews coming up, matchups, what to expect when India takes on South Africa. But today, as an Indian and a sports lover, that doesn't matter to me. What eventually happens on November 2 will make no difference to what we learned last night, that these cricketers have already showed us all that is possible. They have showed us a glimpse of what it takes and what it means to be superhuman. And that is the memory I will keep with me of India's champions igniting this beloved sport once again. It's not often that Real Madrid, the biggest football club on earth, finds itself cornered by one of its own. The same club that once stood behind Vinicius Jr. like a fortress, defending him through racism, controversies and campaigns, now finds itself standing across from him in silence. And that silence says more than words ever could. The message is clear: the honeymoon phase is over. Vinicius Jr., once the beating heart of Real Madrid's new era, the player they defended in Spanish courts, boycotted the Ballon d'Or for, and made the face of their global identity, is suddenly on the other side, all because of a moment of frustration that may have exposed a much deeper problem. Spark was lit during El Clasico against Barcelona. Madrid won 2-1, but one man didn't walk away smiling. When manager Xabi Alonso substituted Vinicius in the 72nd minute, the Brazilian's reaction was anything but subtle. He raged, he shouted, and stormed off. A petulant act not befitting the big stage that he was at. And that single moment inside the world's most watched fixture has now turned into Real Madrid's biggest internal storm. The latest is that Vinicius has apologized after rumors of him leaving the club emerged.
Today, I want to apologize to all the Madridistas for my reaction when I was substituted in the Clasico. Just as I have already done in person during today's training, I also want to apologize again to my teammates, the club, and the president.
But here's what caught everyone's eye. He didn't mention Xabi Alonso at all, the coach against whom that tirade took place. And in Madrid, that omission rings louder than any apology. Reports in Spain say Vinicius isn't happy. He's clashed with Xabi Alonso multiple times during pre-season, during training, even during the Club World Cup. And this isn't just a tantrum now. It's a full-blown power struggle, and it doesn't come as a shocker. Under ex-boss Carlo Ancelotti, Vinicius was the chosen one. The system revolved around him, his flair, his fire, his freedom. The club, the coach, even the president all had his back. He was the center of every celebration, the blue-eyed boy. But under Xabi Alonso, the rules have changed. This is not Vinicius Madrid, this is the team's Madrid. A disciplined, tactical, image-conscious machine. Less flair, more control. Less emotion, more structure. And Vinicius, he's never played that way. We've seen this before. Paris Saint-Germain went through the same phase when Kylian Mbappe clashed with Luis Enrique. The superstar resisted structure. He left. PSG won 4 trophies and reached the Club World Cup final right after that. Madrid are trying to walk the same line, to prove that no player is bigger than the system. But through these years, from Nike campaigns to anti-racism activism, Vinicius has become more than Madrid's winger. He's their face in every headline, in every advert, in every social media campaign. The same Real Madrid that once called him the pride of Spain are finding it difficult now to label him a problem child without losing their credibility. So they're trapped. They can't punish him too harshly, but they can't ignore him either. And right in the middle of it all stands Xabi Alonso, the calm, the very composed, no-nonsense tactician who's now facing his biggest test in man management. If he goes too hard, he risks losing the dressing room. If he's too soft, he loses authority. For decades, Madrid thrived on Galacticos, big names, big egos, big drama. Zidane, Ronaldo, Ramos, Mourinho, personalities that defined eras. But Xabi is trying to shift that legacy from Galactico ego to a Galactico system, from emotion to execution, which is why it becomes more important for Vinicius to stick by the club. They're coming on the back of a mixed season. Things are finally clicking now. Mbappe, Vinicius and Bellingham, the trio seems to be working. This is Vinicius' moment to prove how much he really loves the club. Because this is a club that's stood by his side all along. The question is, will he do the same when they need him the most, or will he continue to focus on himself here? His apology might have closed one chapter, but it's opened another. The bridge between player, club and coach is cracking, Can Real Madrid truly move beyond individual brilliance and still remain the world's biggest brand? Or will their greatest strength, star power, also become their greatest weakness? England's captain, Bayern Munich's talisman, one of the best finishers of this generation, and yet Harry Kane has one dream left. A dream that has nothing to do with the Champions League or the Euros or even the Premier League trophy. That's forever slipped through his fingers. This dream takes him across the Atlantic to a sport built on helmets, shoulder pads and raw strength. Harry Kane wants to play American football. And now a Super Bowl champion has offered to train him. The question is, will this crossover be a Hollywood fairy tale or an impossible sporting experiment? Our next report tells you more.
In the land where football means something entirely different, one Englishman's passion is turning heads. Because in America, they don't call it football, they call it soccer. And yet, here's England's biggest soccer star. He's dreaming of making it big in their football. Harry Kane, the man who scores for fun, wants to swap nets for goalposts. And no, this isn't a clickbait headline. He said it himself repeatedly.
Yeah, and trying to become an American football kicker was always something that's in the back of my mind. The NFL is something I've been following for about 10 years now. I love it, so I would love to give it a go.
At 32, Kane isn't chasing fame or fortune, he's chasing legacy. Doing something no elite footballer has done before, successfully crossing over into the NFL. And it seems the NFL is listening, because one of its biggest names, Dustin Colquitt, has just stepped forward. A Super Bowl winner, a Kansas City Chiefs legend, a man who knows what it takes to deliver under pressure. And Colquitt believes Kane can do it.
If he focused on it, he would do fantastic. I've seen some of his finishing skills. I would love to actually work with him. He's seeking this out. That's part of the fibre of his being, that he wants to try this NFL thing.
This isn't just flattery, it's an endorsement from one champion to another, and the parallels between them are uncanny. Colquitt's father was an NFL champion. He became one too. But growing up, he dreamed of being a Premier League footballer. So when he sees Kane trying to go the other way, he gets it. It's ambition, it's curiosity, it's respect. Kane's obsession with the NFL runs deep. It started back in 2011. A teenage Kane watched a documentary on Tom Brady and something just clicked. That story of discipline and obsession shaped him. He became a New England Patriots fan. He studied Brady's mindset and carried it into football. And now he wants to follow in his idol's footsteps, not as a quarterback, but as a kicker. And honestly, he might just have what it takes. Because kicking in American football isn't all about brute strength. It's about timing, accuracy, and consistency. All of the qualities that made Kane one of Europe's deadliest finishers. 30 yards out, in the 90th minute, under pressure, Kane thrives there. He's done it thousands of times, and mentally, few players are tougher. Crossovers like this aren't new. The sports world have seen it before. Michael Jordan quit basketball in 1994 to play baseball. He struggled, he came back, but that experience redefined his love for the game. Ashley Barty played international cricket to switch back over to tennis and even became world number one. Usain Bolt, after dominating athletics, tried professional football with Borussia Dortmund. Andrew Freddie Flintoff traded cricket whites for boxing gloves. And now Harry Kane could be next on that list. Not as a stunt, not for publicity, but as a genuine competitor. Sure, the technique will be alien. The ball shape, the snap timing, the pressure of one chance, one kick. But Kane isn't naive. He knows he'll have to start from zero. Sweat, repetition, humility. And that's exactly why veterans like Colquitt respect him. Because he doesn't want a free pass. He wants to earn it, the hard way.
I know it will be a lot of hard work, I'm not expecting to just rock up and start kicking field goals. It would be a lot of practice.
If this happens, if Harry Kane really trades the pitch for the gridiron, it could be one of the most fascinating sporting transitions. Picture it, England's all-time top scorer walking out on Super Bowl Sunday. That's the kind of dream that rewrites the rules. From London to Munich to maybe one day Miami.
Time for last serve. Football legend Diego Maradona is back on the streets of Naples. The Argentine icon who gave the city its greatest footballing chapter rolled through Naples once again, but in the form of a bronze statue. Fans turned out in thousands to celebrate what would have been his 65th birth anniversary. A city that once worshipped him on the field now followed his statue around the streets where he grew up. Take a look. That wraps it up here on Firstpost. I'll of course see you again after this weekend. Do take care. Bye-bye.